Yung lo hôn chia tổ trung cho ta tin nè cụ giờ niệm gì họ cùng giờ con dừng chia tổ trung cho ta tin nèวันนอชิลูเขาชิเกตูปืนอีตูตุนรอลูตุนดาดาลูตุยาวโวลุนเนยกาเสียตูรู้เสียให้เพียกูอย่ามองตายพอเราช่วยเรากูที่จอผู้เจตามอเรากูเจยอสุดดาสุดยาว่ากูบอกหมดล้ออีกแค่ตีนลูจิลีของรุ่นหนึ่งท้อตีนหนึ่งจะไปตอนจะหารุ่นหนึ่งปวดชัวทุกเกียรติทุกเกียรติหา有苦多干，我就发到老八婆，学铁包学多，那得多才得。我路能有半地干，耶耶。若是还别不要梦，带我入捉了不知道。不知道么了不知道，说呀说呀，我不过我喽。Phải mùng nhỏ mong ngàn đu thì nhóm này cả yêu Canada lòng du cụ ca không lên một đêm với nhỏ rồi rồi sẽ hai biệt của nhà mơ tại mọi đâu chúa lòng của chị cho不知道么了不真要，说家说家我不过我喽。
nhớ rong say trong này thì cái tên là cha cho mọi thứ chùa nhớ tao vào tao chơi nu nói giờ nu Thursday là nu thì plow đã cho kêu họ lử nu trâu lì tì năng gạo trong áp hàng cái plow họ program nói giờ lòng ta nu trong Minneapolis here WIXK ít cho son cho kêu phụ yêu họ lử họ kêu cho sổ hết chùa cho chùa ít lu lì từ của tôi cho sổ hết chùa nó all lử tôi muốn chỉ này thì cái tên là cha mua cho lử nhớ họ nu trong Minneapolis tôi chat tới thì chỉ thằng này thà cho tây ạจะจังจังยาดอกลุ่งจงกี่ป้าจวดดูเนี่ยจิกตัวนึงจ่าชนะกูลุ่งเบหัวไมโครยาสิงยาหัวเขาหลุยยาลุ่งจงมินเนียโพลิสเชอร์เก๋พี่จะมองบลอยาลาขมิ้นเทกันรันยาเราเขารู้ส่วนการเชิญหัวเขาลือหัว neighborhood community relations department นู่นเอาเปียชิตาชัวจัวเปียถาจอ immigration ที่ trafficking prevention จอดออตัวหัวชื่อแสงหัวเขาลือทักกูต่อลุ่งจงมินเนียโพลิสตัวที่อีเปียชิตาวันเต้นจอยาหัวมาเช้าตัวที่要是呢，要到路中面不是我后来的我给你了当，因为叫我我自己的一直样多讲的时候，就那天都唔能必须他说，就天他这边啊，帮着保路着时候就那我找，好了叫你叫我呢，我都那他绕那那这他跟你是了，路中了时候天他必须他天，大家必须他来 interview 他了，也估计么叫路差的到，路中面不是多少年这个的讲，我都是懂得多要找一二白二下二一白送找一二。被二下二一被送， luôn bề vua mai của sinh ya hu cho cú lúc share từ là tàu ya thì cái mua lúc chơi sinh đó chi nhau là tàu luôn trong Minneapolis cái mua cái gì tụi bây sinh ya tàu có sáu bao cho cái nó chữ ba đó lên làm mấy bây sinh xử lý và hậu lử bỏ lại ya thì cái cần tàu cái cha chua lo cái tôi chẳng xử lo ít bộ trái dạng hay cho cái nó cái hậu của nhau luôn trong Minneapolis này chỉ bao một cái ba này cái khu vực của tàu nữa sau đó trâu y ở bên ở xa ở一边说trâu y ở边ở xa ở一边说是他的特都那古他说或出生说或做那呀没少那古好留给你都多路红干了路车我好留我玩啊那呀 Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs 你也都Director 你都好是他做下点广东岛鸟路的就没干了点多鸟路的就没干了也根本全广东岛ที่จะ给做出那就那多鸟的ที่จะ全广东岛鸟那呀的个呀一都能多走的就多的就那呢还有么给母上家那团内了的是他说就呢如是是他那你上岛的古老岛那呢古山东的古老岛也得你么路弄那么小子那叫路啊古弄是他那多找了多么鸟面你这多的说我就呢都把财路就错绕边么给谁做了说我就我找到你差不多我们刚刚 introduce 个都 king 我找到你叫我呢我自己天叫是那个是人之间的大家中的被其他的说我就那的莫了去那的你好上岛的古好是动了到古是动的古了到我们差不多就用着Michelle 他 Michelle please introduce yourself to our listener WIXK in the Hmong community living in the city of Minneapolis or elsewhere. Welcome, Michelle. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is Michelle Rivero. I'm very grateful to be on today's program and to talk about the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. So I can talk.
Immigration refugee
Michelle, can you help us understand what you and the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs do in the city of Minneapolis? Có bác kia bây giờ Michelle, có thiên lúc không cần là lúc chơi qua hội nhau lúc trong Minneapolis và your Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs nó đi sao hội lì do đó chị?
Yes, so the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, which is also known as OIRA, O-I-R-A Minneapolis, is an open door to the city of Minneapolis for people born outside of the United States. The objective of this office is so that people who are coming to Minneapolis and to the United States from other countries, from around the world, are able to achieve lives of safety, of dignity, and of opportunity as residents of the city of Minneapolis. OIRA hosts events throughout the year to bring community together and to help people understand immigration developments as well as their immigration options. One way in which we do this is through a monthly virtual immigration forum co-hosted with the City of St. Paul Immigrant and Refugee Program. We also host citizenship immigration fairs and regular community office hours. Through this office, the city also helps make sure that people who need immigration legal help have access to free and high-quality immigration legal services. Through our partnerships with different nonprofit immigration legal service organizations, the city of Minneapolis makes sure that people who need help with various immigration applications and processes, including green card applications, citizenship, assistance in deportation proceedings, U visas for crime victims, and more, have access to the legal help they need. In order to learn more about OIRA, all you have to do is go online and type in OIRA Minneapolis, O-I-R-A Minneapolis, or you can go to minneapolismn.gov/OIRA. You can also reach the OIRA office directly by calling 612-394-6018.
Well, thì họ biết không cả tờ actually Ora ORIA theo luôn trong Minneapolis biết không cả muốn đào giải kỹ bài chùa chứ sáng cho nên tôi họ luôn trong Minneapolis lo là thì tôi sợ tới chờ tôi họ nói thì ủa tôi nên ủa tôi làm mấyสิ่งhọ biết luôn trong Minneapolis ủa cái lời tôi chỉ mới cái party cái lời tôi ủa muốn cái gì pen cho cho nên sợ từ thì ấy có nó chỉ xong mua bây giờ cho nó mua chuột chuột cho nó là cái nhờ nó cá hú học biết luôn trong nó thì giờ thì biết luôn không cả ora nó muốn tao giờ cái bát chuột cho nó còn nó thì ôi giờ thì dùng muốn tao giờ cái bát chuột cho là mấy cái sành thì ôi nhớ nó luôn trong nó giờ thì bên mua khó thì tôi xua luôn đi tao muốn tra sở ra biết cái bát chuột nhớ luôn trong thì cho là mấy cái sành nhớ biết luôn trong nó thì ở bên tao mua nhớ còn nó bên cứ mua cái cổng tiền cho con hậu ôi thì con hầu như bên luôn trong nó thì giờ ấy bên môn tàu giả chứ là mù thua cái bài cho là mấy bên sinh thua nên số tụ hay cho nó còn nó thì giờ tiền này sắp bắt gì nó là nên cái một cho họ biết họ online là giờ tiền cái một cho họ có Aura ORIA ôi nhớ đó họ thì ấy for slash Minneapolis nó thì nên cái một nhớ đó họ nếu khi tao thì biết cái bài bên là không cần thì bên tới đây nữa giờ đây giả thì là đấy giờ là giờ thì nên cái một cho họ Minneapolis.mn.gov/OIRA thiên là nãy giờ chị muốn giáo giáoพี่เรามาถัดจะเก็บไปอยู่จนเนี่ยเราเลยอยากจะเล่าไม่เป็นสิ่งโอ้ยเขาไปลอนตรงเนาะเขาจีตอนนี้แต่เขาสตั้งต้นจะไปถ่ายเตาเทียไปแต่สตั้งไหนเนาะเยอะเจ้าอีออไปจวบเราเจ้าส่วนอีหยีว่าเจ้า
Michelle, can you help us and our listener understand what a U and a T visa are? ก็ปักเทียตอนนี้ที่ก็ต้องใช้โชว์ให้ตัวเราเดียมจะได้จะวีซ่าโอ้ยยูที่ทีนั่นนี่ยถ้าจีนเอาตัวเป็นเนี่ยที่ก็ต้องใช้เชื่อต่อไป
Yes, happy to. So U and T visas are visa classifications that protect people from protect victims of crime and of trafficking. U and T visas are issued by the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services and are designed to increase crime reporting among immigrant communities. They give immigration benefits to victims who have been helpful, who are helpful, or who will be helpful in the detection, the investigation, the prosecution, the conviction, or the sentencing for certain qualifying crimes, and also for certain non-citizen family members of a victim. For U visa, this offers immigration relief for victims of 16 different crimes falling into 3 categories: violent crimes, trafficking crimes, and crimes that obstruct our law enforcement officers. T visas provide immigration relief for victims of sex trafficking, of labor trafficking, and forced labor.
Can you repeat that, Michelle? Because we are losing connection with you. Michelle ก็ตะก้าถามจริงๆตัวเราไปอื้อจงในจิมวล connection ตะก้าอันเนี้ยมีกันมากูที่ว่า
คุณน้องก็มา
แต่มาย่อว่า Michelle call connection.
I don't know if you can hear me or if I'm heard.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm not sure where you stopped hearing me, so I can double
Then you were
back
talking
on
about
whatever you'd like
benefits
me
to
to say
victims
again.
who have been helpful.
Yes, so the U visa offers immigration relief for victims of 16 different crimes that fall into 3 different categories, whether violent crimes, trafficking crimes, or crimes that obstruct our law enforcement officers. T visas offer immigration relief for victims of sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and for victims of forced labor.
我哋等下睇下真係可能，我到夜幾擺住呢度俾咗空間啊睇下，出生差俾我哋幾個地，之後到嗰啲開始幾好成天，我呢度可能，你我到夜幾擺住咗就呢我，有啲嘢嚟只係成山呢度可能，你我到夜茶即係冇做錯天，有啲呢我只摸，到我到呢度可能，นั่นเกี่ยวกับ我到เขาเดียเขาวีซ่าแล้ว有啲เขาแล้ว我到เทียบเขาจิบตากุศล即係冇啲ขออีกขอเทียแล้วลูกห้องการจีย่อกูให้ตัวอยู่เกลือเทียนี่ย่อ OIRA เทียอะไรนะย่ออยู่ลูกห้องการย่อออราลินเตอร์ได้แต่จีตัวเรียนเนี่ยแต่ย่อ OIRA นั่นน่ะย่อจีตะก้าเมื่อทานขนาดกันไม่เทียจะตอนเตาใหญ่กี่ป้ายจุ๋ยเนี่ยเราไปลูกห้องการเนี่ยเราเนาะเทียชื่อสิงชาไปจะกี่ป้ายจุ๋ยเราจะนึกว่าจะกี่จีสอบที่ให้เทียเราจะมันต้องมันเตอเนี่ยหัวเนาะมันเตาใหญ่แล้วมันจะคอยอยู่วีซ่าคอยอยู่วีซ่าเนาะมันเตาใหญ่ว่า这给摆脚这个了，那我只要想啥，我这给对面脚出在那个周呀天，莫被养的要点一，都那我只么当么的，我也得这给制造，了要点了要点要一个那我到查车吵架了，了要点所以呢，thì lỡ giờ cho bông trôi cho dù visa nó và lỡ giờ mong tao giờ cái bài cho cho này nó và chỉ là sẵn sàng cho khỏi thì visa thì khỏi cho nên và tuổi đến tới thì visa nó nếu bắt mua cái bài cho làm mấy sinh và mua tới mình chuột cho thì cái quay ở mù chỉ ra chỉ đừng lâu lấy giờ thì cho tôi nên cái chỉ sợ tôi dặn tới lấy giờ tôi nên tao quay ở đó mù là và cả lâu lấy giờ và là tây đây nụ tây giờ rồi nó thiên là giờ thì còn nó cứย้อนtaoอยากกี่ป้ายจั่วจะในว่าจะสันซาเทียว่าตัววีซ่าเนี่ยเราไปลงตรงให้เป็นคราวนี้เนาะ
Michelle, I heard that victims can get a certification to apply for a U visa. What does certification mean? Can you help us understand? Cú tôi nói thì cho tiếng Anh của giờ thì là giờ ý cho củaต้องการlà xã tạo cho kỳ ba nữa nè là mua certification mà sĩ đại certification cho mua ba apply cho U visa nó có thể sẽ certification nó你才到你家的你这个能查不到吗
Yep. So a certification from a law enforcement agency is required to apply for a U visa, but not a T visa. The certification is basically where a law enforcement representative says that the person has been helpful. So it's a required part of the application process for U visa. There are several agencies in Minneapolis that can certify for both U and T visas. They include the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, the Minneapolis Police Department, the Minneapolis City Attorney's Office, and the Minneapolis Civil Rights Department. For a T visa, you don't need a certification, but it helps your application. And if you or someone in your not citizens of the United States, you have the right to request a U visa or T visa certification. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office and the City of Minneapolis offices, the Civil Rights Department and the City Attorney's Office play a limited role in the U and T visa application process by certifying the following things. They certify whether the person is a victim of a qualifying crime. And then they also certify whether the victim is detection, the investigation, the conviction, or sentencing for a qualifying crime.
Trong biết xia connection với kia đã alai là
Olina thia hay sẽ nó còn nó biết chắc cáiสภาพเลยเดียวจะกี่ป้ายเกิดเราจะเล่นไม่เป็นสิ่งอวยเดียวเราชิมมันตั้งวันเตยอยู่วีซ่าแล้วเดียวทีวีซ่าเนาะมันเราอยากจะมีเดียวชวดจะนครนอเทียเป็นลูกห้องกลางอวยเดียวตัวจริงสื่อแล้วลูกห้องกลางเดียวมันเราอยากกี่สภาพ cho nói thì thế sẽ tụi nên nó chúng mình đang vấn đề thì cái sắp ha cho nó thì classification nó thì giờ chỉ biết mua anh ta lúc còn hậu nhau biết lúc trong Minneapolis nóวันนี้มั่วจะเกษผ้าจะนะขอยูวีซ่าเทียทีวีซ่ายองก็หองไปมั่วเนี่ยเราหอนอแล้วยังเดียวจะตรวจช่าเนี่ยเราไปรุ่นตรงแห่งเป็นเนาะก็มั่วจะลินดานเนาะมั่วแห่งเป็นเขานี่เดียวตัวกุลิเขาใช้เกเขาเซ็งแล้วก็มั่วตุ้งสื่อแล้วลูกเขาปลอเนี่ยเขารุ่นตรงเนี่ยเปลสเนาะจะเตรียมเนี่ยเปลสแล้วตัวกุลิเขาใช้เกเขาเซ็งเทียนจะแล้วขอ civil rights department เทียโอ้ยเดียวเนี่ยเขาไปลงห้องการแห่งเป็นเขานี่เนาะเดี๋ยวเราจะรุ่นตรงในนาเปลสเนาะนะย่อthì là cứ nhớ cho nên ôi là muốn cho sao nhiều xua cho nên giờ đau đơn tự cho nên có sát sinh của tôi chỉ xin tới hay tiếc sẽ tôi nên ua cho nên chúng mình muốn tới nó nhau thì sẽ nữa bây giờ tôi nên ua mua cho li tiệp bông cho chạy ua mua cái là mua sợi cái cho con nó thì bây giờ tôi nên ua mua cái ba cho cái giờ làm ua họ nhiều là giờ TV giả nó nữa nhở.
Michelle, please help us understand who is eligible to request a certification. Nhớ lý cho nên quan nếu mua bằng chùa đó là trâu trai là một thọ đại certification này nếu họ đó cho họ nên trong lý cha here nếu chủ ba tổ lý cha này thì lý thọ tổ đại certification.
So for victims who have been helpful, who are helpful, or who will be helpful in detecting, investigating, prosecuting, or conviction, or sentencing for certain qualifying crimes, and certain non-citizen family members who have been victimized in the city of Minneapolis or anywhere in Hennepin County, regardless of where their case will be prosecuted, for people who live in Hennepin County, regardless of whether the crime occurred, or for people who live in the city of Minneapolis or were victims of crimes that took place in the city of Minneapolis. So these individuals locally would be eligible to receive a law enforcement certification, and a way to inquire about assistance is for Hennepin County by contacting a new email address, which is visa@hennepin.us. Hennepin County Attorney's Office processes certification requests within 30 days or 7 days for victims in deportation proceedings. City of Minneapolis has a rapid time frame as well for processing certification requests, again, either through the Minneapolis Police Department, the Minneapolis City Attorney's Office, or the Minneapolis Civil Rights Department.
我连的那天还在的，今天我们分组就这个把组了，也在这个有么สภา classification เนาะbây giờ tôi chính sự họ là mua nó mà giờ cho nên ua vì thế thì sẽ thì giờ cho nên ua cho cái cái gì nhá họ trong đó trong đưa từ lâu là giờ thì giờ tôi nên ua như chỉ giờ tôi nên sẵn xa rồi giờ tôi nên ua cho cái chỉ rõ là giờ thì giờ tôi nên mua cái tên mình nó chỉ chùa giờ thì cái tên mình nó tao chỉ nhưng mà bên trong Minneapolis nó là giờ thì luôn trong Hennepin County nó là giờ thì giờ là chỉ sợ hay thì trong đó trong nó nữ giờ thì cho là luôn trong là luôn sang là luôn rò là chúa giờ thì cái tên mình nó chỉ chúa giờ thì tôi nên nó nhớ họ bên luôn trong Hennepin nó là giờ thì mình nhớ họ bên luôn rò Minneapolis nó sư thiết chị còn nó cũng như vậy họ biết cho một son trở xua cho nó giờ tới mình lấy giờ plong thu tao chỉ nó sẽ tiền thì tao chỉ nhớ họ luôn trong Minneapolis nó là cho nên đến nó lấy giờ tiệp cho đi đưa cho cái chiếc sừng nó mà lúc giờ chơi hiểu thế sẽ của chính nhau tôi nên nói giờ tao classification cho lấy tiệp bây giờ tôi chính sẽ là được một son trở xua thiết chế vừa phong cho họ nó thiết là nói giờ chị mỗi khi email chia lại thiết khi email lấy giờ visa@hennepin thiết là nói giờ chị không thấy giờ khi email chia thiết cho lấy họ nó mà giờ thì là tất cái cho lại trong một sản xuất nó giờ bé cho nó là chỉ giờ thì mua ít tôi nên giờ tôi nên cho cái chỉ sợ nhá họ trong lâu là giờ thì khách mình nó là chỉ xa nung tới đây chỉ tới giờ rồi nó thì là một thật cho nó là cho xét thành thiết là cho cái chạy hoặc là giống mua tao nhớ họ cho con họ bé mua nó the civil rights department lo là giờ thì tôi chính sự lô là do thì họ bây giờ thì cứ lý cho sẽ cho họ sinh nhưng là sẽ bây giờ không cả là giờ thì cứ lý cho thì
Thank you, Michelle, on that. Buongiorno, Michelle. Michelle, where can people get more information about the U and the T visa? Cho nên cái tên trai là sa bông gì thiên sa tao và lục kia bông gì cho U thiên T visa nó là dùng một thiên họ tự thả được.
So the best way to obtain information is to ask an immigration lawyer, especially since a certification is part of a longer process. And since a certification request made during an open case will be disclosed to the defense. There are telephone numbers and emails, email addresses and websites you can go to. I'm going to provide all of them. If you have questions, you can call the Hennepin County Attorney's Office at 612-596-0550 and leave a voicemail message in any language. You can also email visa@hennepin.us. You can go to hennepinattorney.org/visa. So that's HENNEPIANNEY.org/visa. You can also put into a search engine U Visa Minneapolis, and that will take you to a City of Minneapolis web page, which also provides an explanation about the UMT visa process.
Lina thì hay cho cái ở sẵn sàng nhớ là hồ lấy giờ thì cho cái ở chỉ cho tôi sẵn sàng nhớ là hồ bị luôn trong nó lấy giờ thì giờ tôi làm mấy cái sự nhớ hồ nói giờเขาจะยิ่งชับเลยจะหนักขนาดนี้อยู่ที่ตอนมูได้ที่คือที่ชอใช้เจ๊cho thì cái ở sẵn sàng lấy giờ thì cái ởใช้เจ๊cho này hay trong bao trong tôi nó lấy dân choที่คือที่ชอthả salaจะหนักขนาดเนื้อเยอะเขาจงชับเลยnhớ là nó bên một số tôi nhớ là hay làเป็นเขานี้nó thì giờ thìนี่ซะmột lần nữa chỉ là sau sẽ đây hụt đầu từ cứ lý cho sẽ cho họ sẽ nó đượcไปhọไปลงtrong nó giờ trâu chỉ cho trâuส่วนchỉส่วนนี่ก็รู้ใช่เราไปให้họรู้ตัวlà tàu thiaนี่อีเมลจะไปlà tàu thia để từ visa at hennepin.us lấy do thiaนี่มูchơi cho lấy do tiền thiaไปnhớ họ thia hennepinattorney.org/visa là tàu thia anh nên cái một họ là một chơi chuyện tàu này nó lý do tiền nên một chơi như họ tiền là có search agent có tức là tàu nên tàu tiềnอยู่visa Minneapolis là những tàu bây giờ nó cứ như tàu thôi giờวันนี้สปอนเซอร์nó còn nó tiền.
Thank you, Michelle. Michelle. Michelle, how is the city of Minneapolis working to support new immigrants and refugees to live in the city of Minneapolis? Can you help us understand that? Luôn trong Minneapolis này cho họ lử họ kia một trong cái là một ba sáu cho nhiều chỉ cái tên là bông tê bông theo là kia tôi nhớ đầu luôn để sao tôi nhớ luôn trong Minneapolis ba cái là tôi nhớ đầu luôn trong Minneapolis nó cả họ hùn họ cho kia này ba này một trong cái.
Yes, thank you. So in a variety of different ways, I'll share a few. The Office of Immigrant Hours in person on Wednesdays from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock building at 777 East Lake Street. So that is one place where people, including newcomers, can come to get information about a variety of different resources, including accessing legal services and more. And immigration fairs, where people can learn about the citizenship application process and connect with legal service providers and others who help people obtain immigration status, help people learn English, help people prepare for the naturalization exam, and more. We North Minneapolis, and we'll have another one in St. Paul in August, as this is a collaboration between the City of Minneapolis Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs and the City of St. Paul Immigrant and Refugee Program. If people want to learn more, you can visit the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs webpage at minneapolismn.gov/OIRA, OIRA, or just type in OIRA Minneapolis, OIRA Minneapolis into a search engine. We also have a resource page. So if people are new to Minneapolis, they may be seeking shelter, medical attention, information about food resources, transportation, and more. So the resource page has information in multiple languages on those different topics. Again, in addition to the website, you can call us at 612-394-6018.
Olina nó thiêng mà đâu ya cái bao nhiêu nhá nó khó nó thiêng ya bây lúc không cả hay cho nó khó nó thiêng mà đâu ya cái bao nhiêu cho nên tông cái bao nhiêu nhá nó thiêng bây lời giờ một thả cho nó khó nó thiêng bây lúc không cả nó bây lúc không cả nó nhá nó khó number 7要下 East Lake Street nhá nó khó Career Force 到今天bây lúc không cả nó bây giờ mua khi cho tiền nó Wednesday thôi ông muốn sắp lắm muốn nhà ta xuân tới nhớ đâu là thia giờ chị khi đó này bao giờ mình đâu giờ cái bao giờ thia bên không cả là giờ khi trong chẳng hạn là mình biết sinh ôi giờ thì là chỉ là sẵn sàng nhớ nó còn nó thia vì cứ một số tông thia này giờ thì mua luôn nó đã chỉ là giờ thì sắp bằng gì nó này họ hỗ trợ đó biết là tông nữa giờ cháu y o bây giờ bao cháuส่วน y gì thia ส่วนสีเทียในปีมันตัวใหญ่เก็บไปจั่วจะเล่นไม่เป็นสิ่งว่าสปาวเทียปีกูมั่วเก็บของเตะจะหาสิ่งพอแล้วจะเก็บว่าชื่อสิ่งจะจะให้ว่าชีวิตสันซาเทียแล้วจะเตียนอยู่ขอตัวจะให้เงินแล้วอยู่ขอตัวจะได้แค่นอแล้วมันตัวใหญ่เก็บไปจั่วแล้วมั่วลุ้นน้องเลยจะสัตว์ตัวใหญ่เก็บไปจั่วจะเอาเตียบ้าเชลโลhai tia chế cái thao chế mù lò cái chai chế lo giờ tia cái mỏ cảnh mù qua hôm mỏ lo tia rồi nó tia giờ cái muôn tao giả thiết ra ở bên muôn tao giả cái ba chùa bây giờ thì là sát chơi đó họ biết họ search engine tao ấy là muốn cái một cho họ Minneapolis.gov/OIRA thì là một chơi chùa cho hay thì bây giờ cái ba chùa đó chỉ là mấy cáiสิ่งbây giờ thì là chỉ là xa mà nhớ họ thiên muôn tao họ lù nhớ họ choส่วนนึงจะตัวตรงmột chơi thiệt chơi hiểu sao con nó
Michelle, one last question for you. I know that you're hosting Twin Cities Immigration Forum is one of the best way for people to get information. How can people take advantage of that and participate in this forum that you have? Ít khó của bọn tôi thì muốn nói về thiên nếu ba tuần chỉ có thể mình trả hành giờ họ có giờ tổ chức chế hoặc là một tổ Twin Cities Immigration Forum. Ở bên đó chỉ có thể mình trả giờ thì là sáu là một cộng đó này, sáu lòng này là yêu lý giải là thì là một lòng đó thì là một cộng tiền cho và lúc sẽ cầm host cho forum đó.
Yes, thank you. So the Twin Cities Immigration Forum is a monthly virtual hosted by the City of Minneapolis, Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, and the City of St. Paul Immigrant and Refugee Program, and is a wonderful place to learn about immigration developments, including news from the federal government, as well as updates on things that are happening locally of interest to an immigrant and refugee community. So it's very easy to join. If you just visit the website at OIRA Minneapolis, you can look at meetings and events and click to sign up for the Twin Cities Immigration Forum. My email address is on the website as well. You can feel free to reach out to me by email to join. And that is an excellent source of information about many different topics. This month, as we are celebrating Immigrant Heritage Month, Caribbean American Heritage Month, and given that today is World Refugee Day, we did have a special edition of the Twin Cities Immigration Forum this month. And just to share with folks, World Refugee Day, which is today, June 20th, is an opportunity to celebrate the strength and the courage of people who have been forced to flee their home country to escape conflict and persecution. And we are very grateful and in the city of Minneapolis in celebrating this day today.
Lina nó thia hay xin nó khó nó nên cái một cho họ thì biết học form là tao thia biết một cái công ty cho họ lúc trong Saint Paul thia nãy giờ vậy nhá rồi biết luôn trong Minneapolis thia nên cái một chơi chuột nó khó hay thia IRA Minneapolis thia giờ vậy nên cái một con tới biết lúc không cả và thia immigration thì refugee affair nhá nó khó nó mình tao giờ cái bài chuột thia này email là tao thia thằng nên một chơi thia học website đó là tao nhớ chuyên sinh chapter thia nó cứ giờ inu chuyên sinh nhớ nó họ nói thia rồi nó cho lên tới vật thiên nên cầu bên mua nó cho nó mù mày lấy chơi lại thì nó cho chuyên sinh cho bây giờ nên của tao cho tôi nhớ rồi tới thờ họ luôn trong hệ là bệnh nó thia của là tao tờ là giờ thì tao chỉ thia tờ là lúc tới chờ tôi vì thì cái thì thì vì cái tình chỉ nhá họ luôn trong là giờ thì là lúc tới chờ thia là tao tua sơ chế nó cho nó khoa bây giờ là một khoa thia là một nát thử thia chuyên sinh cho bây giờ nên và tao kia tờ họ lúc tới chờ tua nhá rồi tới chờ nó thia ấy bây giờ là một bao giờ thì lệnh bao thì nó là nó chuyên sinh cho hai nên nó là giờ thì lúc cho nên và chia sẻ xa là giờ thì tao cho tôi nhá bây lúc tới chờ nó thia ấy khi cho nên bao thì nó cứ giờ họ sang cả thia chính chính chấp được bây giờ nên là và là tao tua ra tới chờ thì nó.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle, for taking time out of your super busy schedule to join us on Hmong Radio WIXK. We are looking forward to see you again back, helping our community understand. Dr. Michelle, Dr. Gacheng, Moshi ha to puro pe tia ton pe chen chik ting cha sho ho jun shi tha pe short ji open a team long I ra ya sho ta pe ta kala pi shi tha don to guest ti all ya to ko chi sing ti all ya shunu ti plan pe ta kala. We will be right back after a break and start our second interview with Shunu in a few minutes. So take care yourself. Be back in a few minutes.
Trên gió gió lu chơi mong nhau sâu rộng, lu chơi gió siêu bom lòng nhau bùa rồi, bao giờ lâu lâu râu chân đời đủ chung, nghĩa sợ我trái头知道干了，散走嘛家有容些我落，只要懂得有鸟做你主，被我心冷点的记录松点。Sa cho mà ô trâu cú con tự yo tia muối yo tia cú tao cú sa rong na po lu chơi bom long dong yo tia muối yo tia cú tao cú sa rong na po lu chơi bom long dong Tình gió gió đông long sông long đông rèn gió gió đông chớp lô trên xanh nhện chỉ một phải pha chỉ một ná bà bà đã nên chia sẻ chỉ một đêm cũ đa hầu lo na cha rong trong số lô bề bự ít giá trên công tơ xa mùa có chú có gió cho bà bù lu chế xa cho mà nhớ lúc đánh thăm chân mình giờ tia muối giờ tia cút tao cút xa cho cả phố lúc chơi bom lông đỏ tia muối giờ tia cút tao cút xa cho cả phố lúc chơi bom lông gầy 一种心。
你要用的这个的人家，并且或是谈到马绍，你要到龙中 Minneapolis，我好了，你要到好路送干头，我好了乎 Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affair，你要一度attorney 啦，一度佢哋廠啲知道你那我好了，我给你要一路送干，你要嚟标志路活动，那个你一度八百种，蒙啲种能我多在啲条。个建立要龙中 Minneapolis，莫来去的互动呢。有点那时候好，我知道了你了，你互动过嘛？我那讨论你了，到底是不都是懂得我要找一二百往下，二一百son找一二百往下，二一百son。都我只是当对呢，你弄北湖我收入呢，你一度正正的，我好了要龙中 Minneapolis 把就找个去参谋给我，你我写到你这个的人家还做 human trafficking。有了目的台 human trafficking 的嘛的，能容易有叫能洗了，你都能到叫么我旅亚的呢，叫么洗叫么我可以跑了一点，你都能的叫给day 跑要了要的这里酷气都能到我等你都看超等你等等你真能了，你要弄中 Minneapolis 好我。要考虑啊，去了目的台，搞去参谋 human trafficking 了，去参谋我能，你到能叫么我旅亚去做在。你要的好 race equity ที่ inclusion ที่ belonging รู้ส่วนกันว่าเขาหรือรงเช่นว่าใจต่อตรงนี้ตัวเราเขาสะท้อนตัว WIXK Shunu thank you so much for joining us and take time of your busy schedule to be with us today help us understand who you are and the work that you do in the city of Minneapolis 巴克的贝的ก็ยังตื่นเนี่ยจะเขาหรือก็ว่าเขาหรือยังเขารู้จัก Minneapolis เนาะยาราชิ
Absolutely. Michael, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we could hear you well.
Okay, wonderful. And I'll be off camera just so I could save my internet bandwidth. Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity and thank you to your listeners. This is a very important topic and I really appreciate your work that you do in Neighborhood and Community Relations Department and Michelle Rivero in OIRA within the Neighborhood and Community Relations Department, and we work very closely. But let me begin by just giving you and your listeners a little bit about myself and the work that I do in the city of Minneapolis. I actually joined the city on June 18 of 2018. So I just completed my 6th year anniversary on June 18. And I joined the city to develop a comprehensive blueprint that was aimed at guiding the city in addressing human trafficking and exploitation in a holistic manner. This initiative was funded by 2 national foundations, Nova Foundation and Humanity United, and it was for 3-year period that involved extensive engagement with both internal and external stakeholders, including survivors of both sex trafficking and labor exploitation and sexual exploitation over the first 2.5 years, which then concluded in a comprehensive document that outlined policy recommendations, best practices, and implementation of best practices, and areas for investment to end and prevent both sex and labor trafficking as well as labor and sexual exploitation. Since then, I oversee a portfolio of work across the enterprise that intersects with human trafficking and exploitation, and I oversee the implementation of the blueprint.
Olina nó thia yo wa chao wa actually có hợp tác chơi của tôi cho trò tiền đi cái cái shit thà sầu sa tên của nó thia có chính chính chap rồi thia wa chao có lúc không cả thia có các họ lựa chọn neighborhood housing thia relation cho wa Michelle thia wa lúc không cả wa họ lựa chọn tiền là lúc không cả wa họ lựa chọn immigration thia refugee affairs thia you know nó có nó cứ nhớ có chính chính chap lớn cho có trồng long thia nhớ học cái rôn trong Minneapolis nó cứ sa hai rôn này bao tiền là nó cứ luôn về hua Shuna thia quý tàu u họ lử cho họ luôn trong Minneapolis nó và thầu lúc cho lên từวันที่เกาหลีออฟไฮเกาหลีรอเลยhay cho là tới đây nữa của tàu họ lử nhá họ luôn trong Minneapolis nó mai quý tàu mua cho cái công ty nhá họ tiề lấy cho cái sang hà cho lấy tiề sau lấy ship thật cho nó cho cái qua tiề cô duy tôi nên từ lấy tiề tàu nhia cho tôi nên từ một qua tiề cái chỉ do lấy tiề qua luôn chỉ tao cái cho chạy nhá họ nói tiề bây giờ mua cái công ty nhá họ nóiว่าพี่จะระมูกงเต็นทอลูกกงเฮาโนวาเทียhumidity united เทียยอลูกกงเฮาเนาะแล้วต่อไปเนี่ยเทียจะระมูช่องกาจะเก๋ฟ้าจั่วช่วยจั่วจะนักเนาะเทียให้จะนักเนาะไปกูตัวละใจละคนเนี่ยแล้วมูป้าเจอจะเก๋เดียช่างจั่วชัวจะนักเนาะเทียลินดาอ้อจงเทียอินทางเดอไปตลงมูเทียจะเก๋ช่างจั่วชัวถ้าจะนิ่งอัวจะเก๋จิตจ่อnhư là họ tiệtจะเต้นในตัวชื่อสีเนาะแล้วยอดtiệtจะนิ่งอัวเจ้าเก๋tiệtจะละมูก็อยู่มูชิดาชิดึงโลแล้วยอดtiệtก็อยู่มูวักเขแล้วยอดtiệtตอนนี้จะละมูว่าที่อยากว่าลวดจีตัวอย่างที่จอใจละมูว่าที่อยากจะเนาะที่จะกูยิ่งตัวมัวจะเก๋ซ้อนจั่วชัวจะนักเนาะไอ้กูปอตัวให้เตียกูเทียเลยตัวมูตัวชัวเทียด้วยกงเก๋กงเต็นถ้าจะตู้จริงสื่อให้ใจเตียจะก็จั่วไปยาป้าตัวเลยลีจ่าที่เขาตื้อที่ยาเขาจงชอบเลยที่ไปยาตัวเตะได้หนูนะจงจ่าที่เขาตื้อที่ยาเขาไปยาป้าตัวที่นี่ว่าจะเก๋จีจ่อถูกมัวจะจัดซึ่งเนาะตัวชื่อสีตัวเลยที่อยากจะนอนจะให้ตัวเตียเก๋ว่าตัวเตียมูว่าเนี่ยเตียโลแล้วยาเตียชอบก็อยู่มูว่าที่อยากว่าเขยโลแล้วยาเตียเจ้าเนี่ยมูว่าที่อยากเก๋เพจเก๋จีจงเลยนะเนาะที่ไอ้กูแต่ฉันเนาะแค่จะกูเรามูยาตัวว่าชื่อที่ใช้หัวตัวไหนจะเก๋เตะได้หนูเนาะเลยเที่ย
Shunu, what is human trafficking? Please help us understand. Human trafficking là do cho cái nhiên năng của cho cái phải cái chỉ trong nó do đó chỉ học hiểu được những cái topic.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Thank you for that question. Human trafficking nationally, globally is defined as the use of force, fraud, or coercion toward a person for the purpose of sexual acts or forced labor. However, in Minnesota, force, fraud, or coercion is not required as long as someone is involved in facilitating the sale of a person and receiving profits from it. So basically in Minnesota, prostitution constitutes human trafficking because if someone else is involved in prostituting a person and receiving profit from it, that constitutes human trafficking / sex trafficking. As noted by the Minnesota Human Trafficking Task Force and many international and national organizations, human trafficking is not only a public safety issue, but it is public health and human rights issue that occurs around the world in communities throughout the state of Minnesota.
Lina thia ở chỗ mày cổ có tao nó luna thia luna của khi cho có hai tiền này xài tali cha hay số rồi thì bây giờ mua luna chứ là một chiếc xài thông là căn tu nó là gì luna xài tali thì nhất sẽ cái có duy tu ninh tư là giờ tiền than tiền tu ninh tư là một qua cái sĩ đen là giờ tiền là một qua tại đây nữa đó ý tu ninh tư bự dạ qua cái chỉ tao cho chạy là giờ bây giờ rồi nó là nó giờ thì sĩ giờ tiền bây giờ là mua là luôn nó chứ là một chiếc xài nhất họ biết xem mình là sao nó chỉ giờ là mua thì hạ sao là luôn nó xài sao tiền như cho cái quay quá là giờ thì tao là muốn ăn gìแต่อยากจะนอเทียว่าอยากจะถอยตัวนึงตื้อหรือมั่วอีตัวนึงตื้อเหรอโจไอ้ก่อนนี่ตอนนี้จะก้าวรอโลแล้วอยากเตียแต่อยากจะนอพิสิลิเตียเนี่ยรู้สึกมีสระนออีตัวเนี่ยเตียนะเจกูย่อเกสาวใจเลยเทียว่าจอรีรู้สักกูหมายใจเลยรู้หัวเตียhuman trafficking แล้วอยากเตียมั่วตัวนึงเนาะมั่วกับตอนนี้ตัวเตียแล้วอยากเตียมั่วหนึ่งรู้เจแล้วอยากเตียcái sĩ đa sĩ đen lấy cái ô tê cái liệt chỉ trong này nào cho nữ thiên là nãy giờ chị còn nó cũng yêu thảo cho lý lo tất cả máy chạy ô lô tao một thả trên lời thì chỉ giờ thì nhớ không biết được gì mình nói sợ nó ô tê cái thì human trafficking task force nó xử thì chỉ mà dân vì thì cái nó khá hậu hữu cái phó sĩ lâu đời ít thứ nên tư do cho là chạy ô lấy mua cho lý thứ nên 这里一都能我了摸在ใจ了นะ给摸到呀我就没觉错要เราไปรู้สิ่งในสระนาเทีย
Thank you so much, another important thing for people to understand and that I would like to ask of you is why is this work that you are doing so important for the city of Minneapolis and so important for our residents who live in the city? Vì lý do cho hôn lử có uo nó đi chẳng bộ lý do trò luôn trong Minneapolis thì nếu họ chẳng bộ lý do cho lòng biết sinh nguồn nhau trò luôn trong Minneapolis.
Human trafficking is a multidimensional issue with intersecting vulnerabilities. Like I noted, it's not only a matter of public health, it's a matter of public safety and constitutes violations of individuals' human rights and civil rights. And as a local municipal government, we do have a very crucial role in ensuring that residents in Minneapolis and beyond feel safe and secure and with their rights upheld. In instances where their rights are violated, it's imperative that our existing mechanisms within the city of Minneapolis for resources are accessible to all individuals. We must also establish necessary systems to protect vulnerable populations, especially BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, people of color, and those identifying as LGBTQIA+, which is lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer or questioning, intersex, and asexual people who are actually disproportionately impacted by human trafficking and exploitation of all sorts. And we need to ensure that we are preventing harm and violence. We are promoting well-being, empowering communities, and providing essential resources to victims and survivors on their journey to healing and recovery, and whatever that means for each individual. And we carry out these functions in the city through different divisions and departments, including the Minneapolis Health Department, the City Attorney's Office, Civil Rights Department, Business Licensing and CPAD, which is Community Planning and Economic Development, Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs within Neighborhood and Community Relations Department /NCR, Housing Liaison in Regulatory Services, MPD, which is Minneapolis Police Department, and IGR, which is Intergovernmental Relations Department within the city of Minneapolis.
ไปได้หนูว่าญาติยาเราไปร้องกันเรานี่กูย่อยๆเขาจริงๆชับเลยวิให้เดียจะเกว่าตัวเราโมเดียเนี่ยตัวนึงตื้อแล้วญาติยาที่อยากว่าแล้วว่าเนี่ยตัวนึงตื้อว่าจีตะเกจใจแล้วหมู่ว่าที่อยากเกเพเกจีจงเลยเนาะมันเราอยากว่าจะเราไม่จวดชวดจะขอเนาะเทียไปอยากถามตัวให้เดียจีย่อเดียขนาดขอวันน้อยขอช่วยสิ่งซื่อแต่ชีจะเกนักเขาหูจะเกพอชีตัวอีตัวนึงตื้อที่อยากจงว่าเดียlà mùa có yếu tố năng tư ở luôn chỉ tàu luôn chỉ dành na trở lý luôn cho cái cho chạy ở yếu tố năng tư mua như là họ tiệt cho cái mua cho cái chuyên chế rồi là nó thiệp biết luôn không cả thiên tàu giả ở biết cho một kia như họ luôn trong nẹp plus nó cho các trong hai cái biết sao cả cho nên sẽ tự cho là mấy biết sinh cho nên sẽ tự có nhau tàu giả mua cái và mình kia cái cho xe lưu cái chỉ sau mua thì mình chỉ chuột cho là cho cái nó khá hữu thiệt chỉ mà cái phát cho lợi là mua hai tờ thì rồi nó ui giờ thì là chạy nếu giờเขาจริงๆเห็นจะแล้วมั่วจะเลยgiờ thìตัวนึงตื้อมันเอาอย่างว่าพี่จะมูเช็คป้าจั่วเรามูที่ไทยที่ป้าจะนึ่งอัวเราเคยเกี่ยไปพอกเทียนนะgiờจะนึ่งอัวให้นึ่งดูอะไรเกี่ยจะนึ่งข้าเราเลยจะนึ่งอัวสังใครจะเตอส่วนสีโจจะนึ่งอัวย่อแล้วเกี่ย LGBTQIA+ เทียนอะไรจะนึ่งน้อยกี่giờจะนึ่งอัวจะ lesbian จะ gay โลแล้วจะ bi trans โลและ queer โลแล้วจะให้นึ่งนอมูจะ asexual นะที่ไหนที่มั่วเนาะให้นึ่งอภิกรมูที่ไทยเที่ยก็อยู่จึงมั่วจะเก็บไว้หัวชื่อลัวจะเสดอมั่วจะเก็บที่ไทยเที่ยก็เลยจีสมมติเก็บพอชีถ้าเจ้ามอจีถ้าเจ้าเก็บจีจ่อที่อย่ารู้นอก็เลยมูป้าเชเลยก็เลยอีจะนึ่งอัวไปเรามูที่ไทยเที่ยป้าจะนึ่งอัวจะเก็บจีจ่อจะอยากได้มิ่งอัวตัวชื่อสีลีนอป้าจะเลยเท่าอัวเลยอยู่ละมูเที่ยคอเลยตัวเข่งเที่ยก็เลย cái thôi ya cho cái trong này cô cái nó cái là lương gì cái thôi ya lời cô mua lúc xe tua xe khó một tôi ya tận đây thia giờ bé muốn đâu ya cho bé lúc cái cầu tệ cho nó cho nên ở bé họ lựa cho hai họ luôn trong Minneapolis Health Department no lấy giờ từ cứ đi cho sẽ cho họ lúc sinh city attorney's office no like bé lúc không cả civil rights department business license NCPD community planning theo economic development cho tới lúc không cả immigration and refugee affairs là một trong neighborhood and public neighborhood theo community relations department theo là một trong các housing liaison theo bên đó giờ lúc không cả nhớ họ bên từ tuổi cha ở đây Minneapolis từ chính sự là lúc không cả theo là business license CPED là một trong theo là intergovernmental relations department theo này này giờ.
Thank you so much, Shunu. Are there any trends you have noticed in the community that have you concerned? Có cho họ có kia đó họ làm bị sinh ba làm bị sinh này bộ mua tây ya và nữ chủ sĩ nữ phim chủ sĩ chỉ cho cái này và đó có sinh cho đó có cho họ luyện theo lúc cho làm bị sinh và có họ luyện cho họ lúc community là lúc gì đó.
The intersections between homelessness, substance use disorders, and human trafficking are increasingly becoming more apparent in the last several years in the city of Minneapolis. It's challenging, though, to establish definitively whether these intersections represent an emerging trend or if heightened awareness has led all of us to recognize their interconnectedness with human trafficking more clearly now than ever. Here, I do have to note that homelessness among youth had been identified and acknowledged as one of the major factors contributing to the exploitation and trafficking of young people. In fact, this recognition led to the passage of the Safe Harbor for Youth Act in 2011. What is apparent is that individuals, regardless of age, experiencing homelessness and those struggling with substance use disorders are particularly vulnerable to exploitation and trafficking. And of course, there are other factors such as mental health issues, economic instability, lack of social support, involvement in the criminal justice system, experience in the foster care system, gender identity, race, immigration status. These can increase individuals' susceptibility to exploitation and trafficking. It's very critical to acknowledge and address these intersections so we can better understand the complexities of human trafficking and develop more comprehensive strategies to prevent exploitation and trafficking and support survivors effectively.
Hay真的可能我看这个包黑点，这跟车有真的点点那我了只么话么这，点那我是应是说，了要点么对面就说真的了，我要一顿那我是领导，我要帮助给跑西中领的那天。我也点，我被用到了呢，要弄出门来不是呢，我帮到来点，都那么能接了日日天，เขาจริงๆชอบต่อยิ่งเหลียเตียนเตาอยากจะมูหยดชดสักคนเนาะกูยังม่วนเตาอยากว่าพี่จะมูปอดตัวเตียคนนั้นกูเม่งเทียจังเลยเทียจะเกี่ยวจุ่มว่าเมื่อเจจะให้เตียจะมีตัวมีหยวกว่าเลยเตียจะต้องมาอายุโลเลยอยากเตียจะให้เตียตัวนั่งเดินหรือมาอายุดีจ่าซื้อเตียชีละมูจอกขอเตียตัวนั่งว่าจุ่มว่าเมื่อเจกูยังอยากขนาดไม่อีว่าตัวนั่งเนาะป้องจะเก็บผักชีเนาะกูใส่เลนเตากูป้องจะจะมีหยวกเลยอยากเตียตุ้นใส่หัววันนี้จึงจะต้องมาอายุเทียที่rồi nó cứ giờ bóng cho đi đó tất cả mọi trái ở đó tao hơi khó safe harbor for youth ai trong ấp hành đang ngồi yên đó còn nó cứ bỏ tao lại tiền chỉ hai tiền tua nên tự nó mua anh nhớ đi trả nhớ đó còn nó thử thì tôi mua tất cái phật sĩ mua tất cái ở bóng cho họ tiền chỉ mua vào mua chế cứ giờ tôi nên là mua chuột chuột cho tiền cái gì thì chỉ chua cho nên nó cứ sẵn tàu giờ bóng cho tất cái phật sĩ lên là nó cứ bỏ tao lại tiền cho nên mua tới mình chuột chuột cho nó là tất cái nó cá hồ để là lúc ba lứa lồ lấy giờ tiền chỉ mua nhẹ tiền cho một tháng cả lấy giờ tiền chỉ tao cái ba cái tháng cả lấy giờ thì một tí mình chuột chuột cho luôn tên nó chứ lấy giờ thì cái sản là chi lấy giờ thì ít tôi nên từ quay thì mình nhớ tận niệm khoa chế lấy giờ thì một tí mình chuột chuột cho thì nếu giờ tôi nên từ lấy giờ thì mình để hay để tờ rồi lấy giờ thì chỉ mua tao muốn tờ sẵn sàng nhớ họ tí chân nó cho nên nó sẽ lãnh đầu cứ giờ phong trào khó tí mình khó cái khó xin mình đã nói thì hiện tao ya ở bên kia là một sống xã thì cứ giờ ở đâu bên cái bên cái xe thì tao cho hay thì在给跑西为个能得到过有知道给在在了下的做的做过有我来去演拿呀的呀rồi nó bây giờ知道là một số vừa thì thì là giờ ta tao cho nó thì còn nó bây giờ người ba tờ cho nên我cho cái chỉ cho nó thì cho nên我有帮助的呀给配置rồi nó嚟呀。
Thank you so much. We're at 3 o'clock. Thank you so much for taking your time coming on Hmong Radio and share this information with us. I look forward to connecting with you again in the future, inviting you and both you and Michelle back to have more conversation with our listeners. Greatly appreciate the work that you and Michelle are doing for all of our residents. I have your contact information, and I will definitely share those information with the listeners. And I just want to say thank you to you and Michelle for all of the beautiful works that you guys have done for us. 我找了个天使奴天 Michelle donation law 的时候，我就那都讲，khi đó你这个等价做叫好里呢，我的给把脚都是错都拉没被生意弄中 Minneapolis，一种些我那找了叫好里呢，我星期多里你里找，种现金呢。Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Ni chỉ có thể nói là sinh chỉ đùa bé chỉ hơi thâu lại chỉ là chỉ nên trong này nó cho số vật chùa lời lúc chạy nhung bé mà đã có sinh chỉ ilu lì nó chỉ có tua origin lu nu Thursday thì thì nu Thursday thì bé đó số lúc lì nhớ là số vật chùa nó WIXK ý chỉ cho số thì là bắt sáng thiên tiếng lúc sáu tuần chùa nhớ lúc trong Saint Paul và hậu luyện cho lúc trong Minneapolis mua cho lu và thà chính chân cho số vật chùa thiết chặt tại trên chỉ có thể là trả tuần chỉ nên số vật chùa hoặc là những chỉ kiến nó hay dùng cụ thể của mai cầu ya, sau đó giờ trâu EO bé ở xa, ở gì bé xuân, trâu EO bé ở xa, ở gì bé xuân, mua ra chỉ nó huru cụ, hoặc là những chỉ kiến nó hay dùng xin chỉ đồ.